Aloha, it was very nice meeting you. Tell you what, this week's lesson, this video lesson recap is going to be very simple, very straightforward, and very to the point. When I play a C major 7, which has a C, E, and a G, and then uses the B on top of that, so a half step down from that C is that B. C, B, B flat, B, C. What we're going to do is we're going to find the 1, 3, 5, hear that octave, 1, 1, and go down a half step from 1, not 1. We don't want to go in between those few variations, that subtle point right between notes, that semitone to semitone, the C to C sharp, the C sharp to D, the D to E flat to E, E to F. There's a variation of a tone. Is different. Those are melody notes that fall within a chord. C minor to be exact. But when I play a C major 7, 1, 3, 5, and the B, if I'm hearing a note like which does not fit into the chord, rather than trying to figure out how to sing and raise up to something, find the note that you're singing. So find on your guitar, if you're doing C major 7, if I know that I'm playing a C major 7 and I hear I'm hearing a 6 over the top, so I'm hearing the E, the A rather than the B. So is different than So the first point that we're going to do is find the note that you're singing. Play any chord on the guitar. If you're playing a D major, sorry, 1, 3, 5. If you're hearing play the D major. Find the note that you're singing, play the D major again, and then realize you can go The process of finding the missing note, the weak link, the note that's not supposed to be in the chord structure that you're using is the first step in our process to diagnosing what notes we're singing. The second thing we can do is pick any note on your fretboard. I would say the F, since it's the lowest one that you could possibly hit that's not an open note. The E would be the open note, the F would be the first fret on the 6th string, the E string. If you could run up in semitones, half tones, minor seconds, you're going to be able to go from F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, B. Go as far as you can until you can't hear any more notes and it's not audible. Your range will most likely be 7 notes below that note. So mine is like, which is ridiculous. That's not a note I'm gonna sing, but it's like here. So like 7 notes below that is there. So I know my highest note that I can sing is probably around an A or a G. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's a high D. Not bad, but I know that my range is between this D, this D, this D, this D. So I have a 4-octave range. Most people have a 2-octave range, which is completely fine. Most songs are done between C2, which is right here, and C5, which is right there. So honestly, there's not a whole lot of variance. The things we are going to be doing week to week are going to be taking just our C major chord or our D major chord or our E major, F sharp major, G major, any number of these chords, and we're going to be associating do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. We're also going to hear 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 1, 1, 9, 1, 9. we'll keep going on that, and I'll explain what 9ths and 13ths and 11ths are. They're just, when you go up the scale, you don't just keep adding. C to D is a half step. It's a major second. C to D is a whole step. It's a major second. Just because I play C to D here and they're right next to each other, if I play C and D up here, they're still next to each other note-wise. Just one happens to have an octave up. We call that a 9th rather than just another sus chord. When we go from in the key of C, our C, D, E, F, that F doesn't really get named as being like a 10th. It's an 11th, and then our 13th is an exaggeration of where we would actually have our 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So our A can be A or our B flat, A sharp, A. But what we're going to do is we're going to do note associations with a note and holding out very legato. So if we had a B, I'll show you how to use the diaphragm, go up and down, fluctuate, use the muscles in the back of the throat to generate a vibrato. Once you have a vibrato mechanism going on, it makes it a lot easier to go from a different movement where you're blending and swooping into different notes. But as far as it is, our point of business, our first point of business is to play any chord, like a D, la 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 la, and find a note. So try and hit a tonic, la, but if the first note you hit is and you're playing a D, find the note you're hitting, play the chord again, and realize that a D, F sharp, A, and then that B does not work. Maybe a B flat, then an A, then an A flat, then a G. In a melody, that note might work, but not when you're just trying to hear the tonal mass. All chords are triads built off the 1, 3, and the 5. In the key of C, we'd have no flats, no sharps. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. When I get rid of my 2 and my 4, my sus chords, I get my major triad no matter what I'm in. If I was in the key of G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Get rid of the other 2, don't need them. 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5 is G, B, and D. That's my major triad. When I play my G, B, D, G, B, D, G, B, flat, D, I get a minor from that, flattening the median. So what we do is we put vocabulary terms to all these things. Root, secondary root, what is that? Semi-root, semitone, semi-median. This is a semi-median, this is the median, this is augmented, this would be a pre, so that would be the, what is that? Subdominant, secondary sub, dominant chord, augmented dominant. This is going to be a flat 6 or minor 6. So this actual spreading would be a 6. In relative, you have a major, and then you've got a sus over the top of that, which I love that chord. Our flat 7th would incorporate the B flat in the key of C major, thusly meaning we would have a 1, 3, 5, flat 7, and then thusly we are going to know definitively how to go blah, 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 from C major, flat 7, C major, dominant 7, and then C major to, C major, flat 7, which is the dominant, C major with the 7, which is the diminished, and then it goes to the resolution of the C major. What we're going to do is we're going to tie together what you already know on the guitar, put the vocals starting at how to breathe, how to be mindful of counting in 4/4 rhythm to begin with, and how to have expression and know when to take your breaths. A big thing of doing music is learning how to breathe and when to take those breaths. So what I was trying to explain is when you take a deep breath and you explain a concept rather than talking and then taking a deep breath and then speaking, our brains naturally find the shortest amount of words pushed together without large masses of syllables and context. So when we're speaking to somebody, the breaks make sense. So what we do when we speak is we generally say anywhere from 12 to 24 words. You'll also notice if we're in a measure of 4/4, if you were to play 24 notes, you would be playing 16th notes as fast as you can, and you still wouldn't get them all in there. However, in a normal measure of 4, if we speak like this, we generally have quarter notes and eighth notes that dictate what we say. So when we talk, the things that we do can be expressed in music. Generally, we don't break these up and we don't have triplet kind of things, but When we make a point, we do. So what we tend to notice is la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. And if you could hear loving you is easy, or whatever we're hearing. Let's say we're doing canon. Da, 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 da. If we're moving through notes, we should be able to go C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. So what you and I are going to do for the next week is we're going to spend 5 minutes in every lesson doing exactly that. C, B, B flat, A flat, G, F sharp, F, E, D flat, D. And they don't really have to be audible, just as long as your voice starts stretching those chords. Anyway, it was wonderful meeting you. We might not need to work from a book because I've got plenty of material here. If you bring a pencil and a notepad, you could jot down notes. However, every video that I have in should have at least 5, 10, 15 buzzwords like dynamics, legato, allegro, piano, mezzo piano, mezzo forte, forte. Stuff that when we do together, I might say la or la. One had a subtle scoop with a very, very small crescendo where I got slightly louder. You could also have decrescendos. You could have a whole plethora of different words which mean things. It would be nice to be on the same level, have all these tools and vocabulary in our tool bag, so when we're talking to each other, we could basically have a conversation. Anyway, it was very nice meeting you. As I said, I will see you next Saturday at 2:45. Aloha.